Hi everyone. So in the previous video we learned the basics of n8n and build our first automation workflow. But many people prefer running n8n on their own system instead of using a hosted service. So in this video we will learn how to self-host n8n on our own machine. First, I will explain what self-hosting means and how it compares with cloud hosting. Then we will understand Docker and containers. And finally, we will install Docker and run n8n locally on our system. So let's start with a simple question. What is self-hosting? Self-hosting means running software on your own computer, server, or infrastructure instead of using someone else's server. For example, when you use tools like Google Docs or Notion, those applications run on servers owned by those companies. But when you self-host something, the software runs on your own machine and you control everything. People prefer self-hosting mainly for three reasons. First, data control, because your data stays with you. Second, customization, since you configure the system however you want. And third is cost, since many open source tools can run without subscription fees. Since n8n is open source, we can completely run it on our own system. So now let's quickly compare cloud hosting and self-hosting. In cloud hosting, the software runs on infrastructure managed by a provider like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, or even the official n8n cloud platform. The advantage of cloud hosting is that setup is easy and maintenance is handled by the provider. On the other hand, self-hosting means you run and manage the software yourself. This gives you full control over configuration, security, and data. But it also means you are responsible for maintaining the system. Both approaches are useful depending on the situation. For learning experimentation, many developers prefer self-hosting. There are multiple ways to run n8n on your system. One option is installing n8n directly using Node.js. Another common approach is using n8n, running n8n using Docker containers. You can also use Docker Compose for more advanced setups. In production environments, people often run n8n on virtual machines or Kubernetes clusters. But for beginners, the simplest and most reliable approach is Docker, which is what we will use in this tutorial. So many of you were having a question that, so what exactly is Docker? Docker is a platform that allows developers to run applications inside containers. A container is a lightweight package that includes everything needed to run an application. That means the application, its dependency, and its environment are all bundled together. Because of this, the application behaves the same way on every system. Docker makes software deployment much easier because you don't have to manually install dependencies. You simply run the container and the application starts. To understand Docker better, we need to understand two concepts. The first is a Docker image. A Docker image is basically a blueprint or template of an application. It contains the application code and everything required to run. The second concept is Docker container. A container is a running instance of that image. So when we run a Docker image, Docker creates a container that starts the application inside it. In our case, we will use the official n8n Docker image, which will create a container that runs n8n. Now, let's briefly understand how Docker works behind the scenes. Your computer acts as a host system. Docker runs on top of the host system and manages containers. When you run a Docker command, Docker downloads the required image if it is not already available locally. Then Docker creates a container from that image and starts the application inside it. This container runs in an isolated environment but still uses the host system resources. Because containers share the operating system kernel, they are much lighter and faster than traditional virtual machines. Now, let's actually run n8n using Docker. So let's quickly go to the official documentation, how we can install Docker and how we can set it up for our system, in our system basically. As mentioned before, we can use Node as well. So whoever is a Node developer or a backend developer who knows Node can use this npm command directly, which is one of the easiest way to download and manage your n8n, and you can update it easily as well. And another option is Docker. Now, to get this done, we first need Docker desktop, as we are having an Windows environment, basically Windows operating system. Some of you may be using Linux. So Linux have a CLI based system, so they can just directly, paste it some commands and the Docker things are gets running. But for Windows and Mac, you actually need Docker desktop to uh, get things work for you. So here's the official website to download Docker desktop for your system. I will download my specific Docker desktop, which is down the AMD 64 one. So it will take a little time till now. So I will quickly pause this or skip this part, so you can also download this, and I will get back when it's downloaded. Okay, so hopefully the fan noise is not bothering much. After a long time, it got downloaded. So let's set up it. So you would get uh, admin uh, permission error, basically an admin permission which you have to select yes. And then I don't want any shortcuts. So I am showcasing this setup so that any person from the non-tech background can easily understand what to do next and what to uh, you know select whatever option they want. So it is basically unpacking all the required files from our exe file which we downloaded using the Docker desktop um, website. Again, it is also gonna uh, have a lot of time to download everything, as you can see the progress bar. So I'm again pausing this video and I will get back once it's done. So after unpacking all the necessary file, it will tell you to restart the system. I will, I think, do the same. So uh, I will get back.